I speak faster than I tell myself.
Avnim.
It's difficult to really explain what it used to be like. All of the stones have been recently placed here and the signs, and you could drink water just getting on the ground, but they build up these stones. But this is fresh water continually, year-round, emitting from the Mount Gilboa. I wanted to tell you in the bus, but I'll tell you now, and then you might see it when you leave, that Mount Gilboa is, of course, where David, in the first chapter of 2 Samuel, made this poem of praise to Jonathan and to Saul. And he praised even Saul. He dressed you in robes, and he made it good for you. And oh, David, my Jonathan, my friend Jonathan, how dearly I loved you. Of course, everybody loved David, even the Philistine king Michal, the daughter of Saul. There was no any kind of homosexual connection, because always you know your partner. And but most people don't realize that there was a great variance in age of David and Jonathan. Are you aware of that? Jonathan was in the army when Saul became king. You couldn't be in the army until you're 20. David was not born till 10 years after Saul was on the throne, which means at 30, when he started to rule, Jonathan was 60. When he died, Saul was 80. So here is a man old enough to be his father, who recognizes this is God's appointed man. He had more reason to stay with his father because of the one meeting when David is fearing that he is going to be killed. Told Jonathan. Jonathan said, no, my father tells me everything. He would let me know. Well, I'm afraid. The New Moon Festival is coming. Now, this was every new moon was how often does the new moon come?
28 days.
Every month, right?
28 days.
Yeah. New Moon Festival. So it's a quasi holiday, and of course the night precedes the day. And what occurred on the New Moon Festival, the night, Saul has a meeting. Jonathan, his heir apparent, on the right, David, his armor bearer, is on the left. And so David says to Jonathan, I'm worried, so I don't want to go to that meeting. I want you to find out how he reacts when when I'm not called. And so Jonathan says, okay, you hide in a cave. I'll have to bring an arrow retriever with me when I know, so I'll give you a signal. You hide in that cave, and if I come back when I have this arrow retriever and I shoot this side of your cave, you'll know it's safe. But if I shoot farther beyond your cave and I say to the boy, no, farther on, you'll know I'm shooting past your cave. What happened was the meeting is held. Saul totally ignores it. And Jonathan is there, but David's chair is empty. The next day, the night preceding the day, he has another meeting. And now it's the same. And finally, Saul says, where is that son of Jesse? He's lost his name, son of Jesse. And Jonathan says, well, he had to go to Bethlehem. And as I would read it, Saul interdicted, you S-O-B, you son of a nefarious woman, swear it. And he wanted to kill him. He says, you could have been king, and you let this son of Jesse take over. And when Saul had to tell David, of course, he He then fled to the Philistines, pretended to be insane, had to get a weapon of Goliath. He had to have the bread from the table. Did I cover that? I'm not sure. But one other thing I want to tell you, what I started with while going around the country. Up on the top, we were here. I had 26 that were digging. And we were going to go every weekend. I'd have a place for them because we stop at 1 o'clock or 12 o'clock on Friday. Don't go back till Monday morning. And this is one option that we had. And I found out that they were reforesting, and they still do it, 3 million trees a year. And they came here and they were putting it on top of Mount Gilboa. And it was 2 or 3 days. And they got up, and all of the trees up on top that had just been planted were pulled up out of the ground and thrown. Couldn't imagine who would do this. It's a patriotic thing to recover the country. And they found out, the Orthodox said, you're reversing the curse of David. Let no fields on you grow. Let the country just lie. I don't know the exact word.
Fallow or barren.
But they won't allow any trees to be built up there, and you'll find it's vacant. There are no trees there, because the Orthodox say that is reversing the curse that David gave. So you can drink the water if you like, but this is where that the spring still runs, and it runs year round. That they could refresh, and it runs a long way, where the 300 drank it as they should. It's interesting, Josephus reverses it. You'd say, these are the bravest. To him, it was the ready people to run real quick. And God's going to use the weakest to prove that he has a miracle in mind. Okay. It's a shame, but, normally I don't get to take this or Jezreel in because of